First up, I'd like to invite Joy to open the floor for us and share his perspective on some of the macro views that he has for us. So over to you, Joy. Thank you.
Thanks, Gaurav. Interesting. You opened it up pretty well. When the going is tough, only the tough gets going, and that's the real spirit of going as well. Great opportunity Friday evening, 500 odd people who are keen to understand how do we navigate through these uncertain times. Absolutely the right thing to do before we hit to the real weekend, Saturday, Sunday. The most important thought that comes to my mind as we speak at this point of time from a leadership perspective, Gaurav, is leaders are driving without a rear view mirror. Leaders are driving these days without a rear view mirror. And for me, one of the drivers, not one of those most expert drivers, thinking of driving itself is scary, but driving without a rear view is even more. I don't know how many of us would really like to take the risk of driving without a rear view mirror. What it all means to say is, I bring in 20+ years of experience in the industry, doing human resource for various organizations. I still don't have the confidence to say that I have solutions to all the problems that I'm facing at this point of time, managing this absolutely new normal. And when I said the new normal, I firmly realized this is not a normal thing at all. All of us are struggling to deal with it while we keep hearing it as new normal. I don't think many of us are prepared to accept it as new normal. Life needs to change. We need to find a way out. And if I have to say, there are 3 challenges essentially, Gaurav, that I see from a leadership perspective at this point of time. The first set of the challenge that I saw was, when all of us had to rush home, in the sense of shut down the office and then get home. And in the whole process, what we had to at best do was to make sure the machines are shifted home. And that most of the organizations and leaders successfully did. And then, of course, we did a pat on the back for ourselves, saying that we managed it well. And before we could relax, the second phase started, how do I keep the workforce engaged, or how do I keep my team productive enough, which was probably the next biggest challenge, what I call it as a virtual leadership challenge. Until then, that virtual leadership challenge probably did not exist. And if I can add or to compound the third level of leadership challenge, what the reason why it compounds is a leader is going to deal with a hybrid category of people, half in the office and half at home. And it's a kind of unlock, unsafe environment. The environment is pretty unlocked at this point of time, but people still feel unsafe. And that's the real challenge that leaders are going through. And that's probably the top topic of discussion at this point of time. And I want to end with, again, the statement that you made: when the going is tough, only the tough gets going.
Again, Joy, I'd come back to you for your remarks in looking at these dimensions of org and leadership challenges.
Right. Like you said, Gaurav, maybe I will fall back onto what my current organization is doing predominantly for my thought process. That's what is shaping up in my mind at this point of time. Like I said, we are going through a phase, wherein not many can claim that, I have an experience of dealing with it. So that, makes everybody uncomfortable to propose anything as a solution. So what are we really doing? We are, relying on our own gut feel as to what is the next best thing to do. For us, I represent IT organization, more specifically IT organizations that are into product development. For us, if you ask me, we can essentially look at 3 phases even in this time. One is a phase of survive, in the sense of can we operate everything from remotely, and how long, how best, how seamlessly. I think we have all overcome that successfully. For us, it was relatively easy because work from home or remote working was not anything unknown or unusual to an organization like ours. I'm sure so is the case with most of the IT organizations, purely because the nature of the work that they do and the capability to run it remotely. I think most of the organizations like ours would be in a stage of thrive, in the sense of I think we already discussed about some organizations. You mentioned, Gaurav, organizations looking at this as an opportunity to do a set of things that can actually set them up for success in the coming days or coming months. So organizations like ours, we are focusing more on the thrive stage, where find the advantage in the adversity. And see what can be innovated. What does that mean? Can we reposition the existing products to the market? Can we accelerate new products into the market? Can we invest in something completely new? And then, of course, are there opportunities to look at anybody who is really struggling so that, we can look at probably acquiring also. So these are, I'm not necessarily saying that, we are busy doing the last thing that I said, but what I meant to say was that, organizations are looking at opportunities purely because I would think they are in the thrive stage at this point of time. And for us at CDK, which is into automotive e-commerce in the sense of, we enable dealers to run their business through our ERP system, and that's the core of our business. Of course, in India it is still taking time, but automotive industry elsewhere outside India is picking up, and our dealers have been finding our solutions pretty handy, and they have come up and asked us questions as to how best can you strengthen more of hands-free, touch-free kind of a dealing when when a customer is wanting to buy a car, and that without walking into a dealer shop. Can they buy a car doing everything online, and then of course the car getting delivered, including the RTO registrations and all other processes that would take care of. That would require a lot of documentation. So we are looking at this phase more from a thrive perspective. What can we do as the next thing?
So great insights there. I'd move to Joy also, and pick his brain on some of the BCP and the remote working play, and his take on that. I know he's talked about the third dimension of getting people back to work. So Joy, can I specifically also maybe request a little attention from you on that area?
Sure, absolutely. I like to start where Tarun ended, declaring the new normal, and I always took a stand by saying this is new, but this is not the normal. We as an organization also attempted all of those virtual stuffs, including onboarding, offboarding, offsites, and all of those things that are virtually possible. I'm sure Tarun and team will keep churning out more and more avenues for us to do what we do on a daily basis virtually as well, which is great. Here is something that might sound a little provocative in the sense of, I have realized, with all this glam and glory around remote working, home-based working, etc., there is a growing concern about the productivity at this point of time. The first wave was all about euphoria. Hey, we all managed to get people safely back home. We all managed to connect all the systems without, any sort of breakdown, collapse, etc. That phase is over. Today, people are seriously looking at what is the productivity of these people who are, remotely connected. And what I realized is, a lot of us in HR, we take credit by saying, hey, we managed to keep the morale high, motivation high, engagement high because we run everything as usual virtually. But let me tell you, that's not what it is. If you look at what you saw in the initial phase, which was, morale being high, motivation being high, engagement being high, was a byproduct of what you invested in people when they were in the office. And that investment is giving you a return in the short term when people are at home, which is a hard realization, but is a ground reality. Now, as we are into the 4th or 5th month of remote working, where what is typically called as the mind share and the time share of the leader is not there from an employee perspective, all of these things. More importantly, productivity will have started declining. Lot of bold statements being made, and that started playing into the minds of people. OK, if others can do, why not you? I don't know whether it is really feasible, whether it's going to be really creating the outcome that business is looking forward to. Me as a human resource person with 22 years of experience, none of it is valid at this point of time on this topic. I stand skeptical is the statement that I want to make.